Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Today on this week's episode of the Cinema Geeks,
we take a look back at our summer predictions.
And we take a look ahead to what's in store for fall of 2016.
All that and more coming up on today's episode with the Cinema Geeks.
That's right, it's another episode of the Cinema Geeks, and I am one of your Cinema Geeks, Optimus Solo. Joining me today in our prediction-filled episode is Hard Candy Mandy. Hello.
what's up?
Not a lot. The prediction guru himself, Movie Revolt Dan. Hello.
Well, that's a lot to live up to. I'm here.
And the guy who's trying to catch up, Fred Lisette.
Yeah.
Because obviously you were not around for the first episode or two where we made our predictions, so you have a little bit of ground to catch up on. But today we'll be looking back at what our predictions were for summer, which was June, July, and August as we define it. I think that's how most people define it. And for fall, we're going to look ahead just at September and October, so just those 2 months this time instead of looking at an entire 3-month period. So before we get into the prediction results, Dan, how was the summer of 2016 for you?
It was, the term lackluster comes to mind. Like, it was not void of good movies. I, enjoyed Civil War, and there were things here and there. But overall, it was very forgetful, I would say. And some disappointments for sure. Independence Day was a huge disappointment. Jason Bourne, a movie I liked, but still wasn't up to what I was hoping for. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a very lackluster summer for me.
Amanda? There was a lot of blockbuster movies, a lot of remakes, a lot of sequels, a lot of big budget things. How did the summer work for you? Disappointed or positive overall?
Like Dan, I had a few letdowns. I think there were some things where I'm like, yeah, I liked it, but there was a couple that I didn't think that I would even like, and I still ended up liking, like Tarzan. I really, really enjoyed that. Ghostbusters, I knew I was going to like that, and it definitely lived up to everything that I wanted it to. So, other than like Suicide Squad, which I'm not even really going to get into a lot with that one, but I would say it's kind of lackluster, like what Dan said. A couple really good ones, but, definitely a couple like bombs too for us.
I don't think there was any slam dunks that were like out there that people just were like gung-ho and knowing that they were going to be great. I mean, this summer was filled with a whole bunch of potential bombs and question marks. I mean, you look at, we had stuff like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Warcraft, the revisiting of the Independence Day franchise, Ghostbusters. There was, and even some of the other bigger budget ones, like we talked about, Tarzan, BFG, Pete's Dragon. There was a lot of stuff that it was like, well, it could work, but there's a lot going against it too, and it might just end up being, falling flat. So we'll have to see how that impacted our actual predictions. So let's start with the box office, and let's look at what we said for the summer as far as our picks to click. Dan, we'll start with you. And your first pick to click for the summer, as all of us picked, was Finding Dory. How are you feeling about Finding Dory?
It was an obscure choice, one that was taking the leap with, but I think I feel confident. So,
yeah, obviously all four of us decided to jump on the bandwagon with Finding Dory and pick that as a pick to click, and it currently is in the number one spot for 2016, the most money made so far this year by any film, and that's in a year with a whole bunch of comic book films. Right now it's sitting at $478 million atop the box office, so we will all award ourselves 1 point for Finding Dory. Dan, your second pick, though, was Jason Bourne. Confident or not about that one?
Not super confident, honestly. Yeah.
Well, looking at the numbers right now, its budget was around the $120 million mark, and as of this weekend, it is now at $140. So it has made its budget back just domestically, and it is sitting right now in the 12th spot out of all the films of 2016. So I think you're just easing that one in for a point with Jason Bourne.
I'm actually surprised it's at 12. That seems surprisingly high for me. But, yeah, I'm all for it. Give me points.
And, Amanda, your second pick was Warcraft. How are you feeling about that now?
Not so good, but...
Feeling not so good?
I want it to be good, though.
Okay, how about a budget of $160 million for Warcraft? Just a slightly large budget. and sitting currently with a box office total domestically of $47.
Dollars? Just 47.
$47
That's about
out of
right.
its $160 million budget. It has not even come close to even getting to like a third of its budget so far.
Man, I thought that they were going to be out in droves for that movie.
Internationally, I think it still did okay, but domestically, people were not digging the Warcraft.
Did amazing in China. It was like the biggest movie ever in China, but yeah.
So unfortunately, we're going on domestic numbers here, so you're not going to score a point for that one, Matt.
As a person who's played almost every Warcraft game that's ever come out and was there launch week of World of Warcraft, I could say that Warcraft fans were not excited about that movie, so I don't know who it was for.
Why weren't they excited?
Because it looked terrible.
I thought it looked pretty legit, and I thought it looked like the game.
Ooh.
The game fans are disagreeing with you, apparently.
Have I played it? No.
It looks like the game in that it looks like it's really bad CG. That, 'cause it really looks so fake.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So it didn't translate well in America, at least.
They should have done the panda one, and we'd have been good. Oh, wait, they already did that. Skunk Fu Panda.
Dang.
Done. But Amanda, you were not the only one to take a misstep here in the second pick for a pick to click, because I unfortunately picked Independence Day because that was before any reviews had been written on it. And Independence Day, with a budget of $165 million, only brought in $102. So
I was really hoping you were going to say Matt fucked up.
So better than Warcraft, but not good still. So I will take no points for Independence Day, the sequel. Matt, how are you feeling about Ghostbusters?
Oh, I know it didn't do nearly as well as it deserved for how good of a movie it was. I know that's a fact.
Budget, $144 million. Domestic gross right now, $121.
Yeah, that's
So-
a shame.
It did not make its budget back domestically, which, originally it came out and a lot of people were giving it some pretty good reviews and talking about, the future films in that franchise, etc. But then it kind of just dropped off the planet there and didn't make its domestic budget back just based on domestic gross, and now people are kind of doubting that they'll continue with those. So we'll have to wait and see. I thought it was better than it did domestically, at least. So no points for any of us except for Dan with the second pick to click. Let's go to our third picks. Dan, you had The Purge.
When in doubt, go with a horror film that's very cheap. So,
$10 million budget, just about to eclipse the $80 million mark. So, horror film that's doing real well. So that is an easy point for you in the horror genre. Amanda?
I wish I really did some research when I did my picks, because I don't look into any of that.
Amanda, your last pick was Suicide Squad. Are you aware of how Suicide Squad did at the box office?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, well, it had a budget of $175, and it's currently sitting at the $227 mark for box office. So, Suicide Squad doing fairly well, regardless of some of the reviews that have come in for it. So you and Matt will both score points because Matt also had Suicide Squad. Myself, my last pick was The Secret Life of Pets. Budget, $75 million. Box office, $337.
Jeez.
So, Dan, when in doubt, either go with a horror film or an animated film.
exactly. And if you get a horror animated film, you're golden. So
Where's that at? Because I want to see it.
Murder Party coming out next fall.
Yeah.
All right, so Dan, you clean sweep of the picks to click. All the rest of us lost one of our picks, so that's where we're at for those. Moving on to Bet to Bomb. Matt, we'll start with you. Your first pick on Bet to Bomb was Star Trek Beyond. Confident?
Honestly, I've heard nothing but good things, but I haven't heard a lot of things, so I don't know how many people actually saw it.
Budget $185, current gross domestically $140. So it is falling short of its budget domestically, which is good enough for you to get a point for Star Trek Beyond being a bomb.
that surprises me. Like, I thought it would do much better than that, considering it did get relatively positive reviews.
Yeah. It's kind of like Ghostbusters. It kind of did the same thing. They're both about, $20-40 million off of its budget, and they both got relatively well received right at first, so it's kind of surprising there. My first Bet to Bomb was The Infiltrator, which I put on there only because I knew it had a slightly larger budget than I expected. It had a $47 million budget, which seems odd, and it only made 15, so way less than half of its budget. So
What's the Infiltrator even about?
I don't know, and that's why I voted for
That's
it.
a good sign, yeah.
The marketing was not out there. That's Bryan Cranston, I believe, but I don't know.
He's the cop that is like undercover, trying to take down the Miami drug pen something. Breaking Bad the movie. No, it's not that.
Amanda, your first bet to bomb was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do you think you're getting a point or not?
Yes.
You are getting a point because that budget was 135 and it's only made 81. So it might have got better reviews than the first one. Still did not do that great at the box office.
I'll rent it. I'll give it a shot.
I'll rent it as well. Well, I'll let you rent it, and then
I'll just go to the movie store on Tuesday and come home with it.
Dan, your first bet to bomb was Legend of Tarzan. You getting a point or not?
I'm feeling pretty good because that was high budget, and I don't think it's even one.
That was high budget. We're talking about a budget somewhere in a neighborhood of $180 million, and it has done decently well. I mean, it's at 124, but that's not 180. So we'll give you a point for that one as well. There was 3 of us, myself, Matt, and Dan, all went on to pick Ben-Hur as one of our bets to bomb. Now, that has only had one weekend, but I'm going to project this one out. Ben-Hur budget is somewhere in the 90 to 100 million range, and if you only do 10 million in your opening weekend, I don't think you're going to make your budget back. So we might be proven wrong with that over time, but I'm going to go ahead and award all 3 of us with a point for that because, Dan, wouldn't you say that's pretty unlikely that it's going to get to 100 if it's only at 10?
Yeah, I don't see legitimately what percent increase you would need over the next. Yeah, so
it would have to be in the theaters for the rest of the year, at least. Amanda, your other pick, your second pick was Central Intelligence.
Did The Rock not do so good?
Budget of Central Intelligence, $50 million.
That's kind of low.
Box office so far, 126.
Yikes.
So Central Intelligence doing better than you thought it would. So no points for Central Intelligence. Then let's go to the last pick that all of us had. Dan, you had The Free State of Jones. Budget, $50 million. Box office, 20.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't think it would do well considering it was like a period piece drama in the middle of summer. And
it didn't really get great reviews out of the gate as well, so that didn't help it either. Amanda, 9 Lives. Scoring?
Yes.
Budget, $30 million. It's only got a $30 million budget.
Oh, shit.
Box office, 14.
Yes.
So, I don't even know how it got that high, honestly. My last pick was The Legend of Tarzan, and that had, like Dan said, 180 box office for that, 124, so I forgot that I picked the same one as you, Dan, so we'll both get points for that. Matt, your final pick, The Space Between Us, which got bumped to a December release.
Yay!
So it will not come out until the winter, so no points awarded by default for The Space Between Us. Moving on.
There's more space is what you're saying, is that?
Yes, there is more space between us and when that movie comes out. Wildcard picks. Matt, we'll start with you. Your first pick was that Batman vs. Superman would beat Suicide Squad overall. Currently, Batman vs. Superman sits at 330, and Suicide Squad sits at 227. Now, Suicide Squad may gain some on it in the next couple of weeks, but if it got 100 million, that'd be pretty darn surprising in the next month. So I think you're going to be safe on that one.
I'm going to hold my breath because my guy from work, I don't know if I've told you about this, who makes really bad bets, he's certain that Suicide Squad's going to have a resurgence and it's going to beat out Captain America this year. He's still convinced.
Take him on whenever he would like to bet you on that one.
Oh, I did.
My first pick was all the animated films in order. I said Finding Dory, then Secret Life of Pets, then Ice Age, then Kubo and the Two Strings, and then The Little Prince. We'll just sum that up very shortly by saying I was right. So Finding Dory sits number 1, Secret Life of Pets number 5, and then on down it all works out. Unless Kubo has some type of massive run here, it maybe could get up to Ice Age, but it's seeming kind of doubting that right now.
Well, I mean, that depends. Do you count, like, Little Prince into the Netflix movie, like every subscription to Netflix? Does that...
add up all the Netflix money.
Yeah.
Amanda, your first pick, Mike and Dave Need a Wedding Date, I believe is the title of that film. You said that would beat out War Dogs. What do you think?
Not feeling so good about it now.
Right now we're going to give you the point, But War Dogs did just come out, so there is a chance that they could catch it, but I just based that off of kind of both how they started and what they would have to get up to. So I think you're going to get that one right, but we'll have to wait a little bit and see. Dan, you had Ice Age Collision Course being the worst film of the franchise. Ice Age Collision Course brought in $59 million. The lowest Ice Age film before that brought in 161.
Wow, there you go.
So it's not even close. It is way worse than all the other Ice Age films from the box office.
Now they can stop. So.
All right, as for our second round of picks, Matt, back to you. Old Ghostbusters beats New Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking about that one.
Old Ghostbusters, 121 million. New Ghostbusters was 229.
Yeah.
So you're good there. Old Ghostbusters still holds the title as the best box office Ghostbusters film.
It was a dumb pick, though, because I had picked New Ghostbusters to do really well, so, like...
You're hedging your bets. You're going to get one of those points right.
That's how you catch up.
Amanda, Independence Day Resurgence beats Legend of Tarzan.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. Independence Day, 102 million, Tarzan, 124. So not a huge gap, but you got the wrong one on the wrong side of that. So no points for you.
I'm not doing so good on this.
Dan, Pete's Dragon beats the BFG. We are going to call this one absolutely too close to call at this point because they both made the exact same amount in their first week, and that's all that Pete's Dragon's been out so far. So we're going to have to wait and revisit that one a little bit because right now they're just about even as far as if you took the same time frame of how long they've been out. So if Pete's Dragon continues to get good reviews, I think it has a chance of beating the BFG, but we'll have to wait and see. How do you think that's going to turn out? They both did about 12 million or 21 million. I can't remember which number it was in the first week.
I think there's potential because there's really not much coming out in the next few months, so it could be one of those films that lingers because parents want to bring their kids to see something, and I think it's a kid's film. I haven't seen it, but I would assume so. And it's a dragon, so people might just go in by mistake. So let's keep it up.
There you go.
And looking at September, there's not much to compete with. That's what
yeah.
Get to, so.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that. And my last pick for the wild card was that Suicide Squad over our summer movie months, June, July, and August, would have the most weeks at number 1. Now, Finding Dory did its best to upset me there because I was sure that it would lose out on one of its weeks because its second week it was going against Independence Day, and I didn't realize it was going to be such a bomb. And then in its next week it was going against a whole bunch of films, Legend of Tarzan, the BFG, The Purge, etc. Finding Dory did end up on top, I believe, 3 weeks. However, Suicide Squad... the way this one breaks down is it comes down to the final weekend of August, which has not happened yet. If Suicide Squad holds off all the competition in its final week of August, it will have more weeks at number 1, or be tied for the most weeks at number 1. So I don't know how that will work down. I guess I said it would have the most, so if it ties for the most, that's not really the most. So we'll wait and see how that breaks down in the final week, but there's really nothing going against it in the final week, so it would have to be something that's already out leapfrogging over it. So we'll wait and see on that one as far as a ruling for points there. So Dan, you're adding 7 points and a possible 8 point if Pete's Dragon beats BFG. So you got nothing wrong at the box office.
There you go. So
that's why I called you the box office guru.
I should have played the lottery this weekend, if only. If it was only a way to make money off of this for real. So
right,
a talent that is legitimately useless.
Amanda, you're going to add 5 points. You got 1 wrong in each category. Matt, you are going to add 6 points. So you're going to gain 1 on Amanda, and I will add 6 points if Suicide Squad does not end up beating Finding Dory for the summer months. All right. Let's take a look at just how all of these films did. Obviously, I gave away that Finding Dory is currently sitting at number 1 for the entire year at $478 million. Anybody have a guess as to what summer film is the second best summer film as far as the box office goes?
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad would be 3rd.
Civil War?
So we counted Civil War as a spring.
Okay.
Spring film. So we have Finding Dory, then one other film, and then The Suicide Squad.
Secret Life of Pets.
Secret Life of Pets. So we have Finding Dory at 478, Secret Life of Pets at 346, Suicide Squad at 262, and then Star Trek Beyond at 146. They all are in the top 10 for the year. So after that, it would go Jason Bourne, Central Intelligence, Tarzan, Ghostbusters, Independence Day, and The Conjuring 2.
It's kind of weird that Star Trek Beyond is in the top 10 for the year, but currently has not made its budget back.
The science fiction film being somewhat expensive, I guess, to make, it has a little bit more to go to do that. But yeah, I agree. And then, like we said, a couple films that got decent reviews with Star Trek, and then Ghostbusters not doing very well either. So
I'm baffled that The Secret Life of Pets is doing better than Zootopia, because Zootopia was amazing, and Secret Life of Pets was very boring looking to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't say, but I am a little surprised, too. I didn't think it would be that good, especially when Finding Dory was somewhat out at the same time as it.
Yeah.
So
I did see it, and I could say it. I think it exists just so we don't take Pixar for granted. It's like, this is what animated movies could be. So
we have a bunch of those coming out in September. We don't have to worry about that.
All right, so let's move on to our fall predictions. This is looking at September and October, just at the box office here. So, Matt, we'll let you start. What do you want to start with? A pick to click, a bet to bomb, or a wild card?
Let's do the wild card.
Go for it. What is your wild card pick for these 2 months?
I'm going against my nature of saying something against Batman v Superman, just because nothing in this 2-month period really, like, it's not a good couple of months, and it wouldn't be fair to be like Sully won't beat Superman versus Batman, because, like, well, of course he wouldn't. So I'm gonna say that Sully will not do as good as Tom Hanks' previous Captain Phillips.
Okay,
those are comparable to me.
So Captain Phillips beating Sully.
Yeah, I think that one.
Nice. All right, Amanda.
Well, I actually was going to do something with Sully, but since Matt went there, I'm going to change it and say Medea's Halloween is going to be the lowest grossing Medea movie.
All right. Medea's Halloween makes less than any other Medea film. You guys are thinking creatively here. Dan, wild card?
I went back to last year, and the highest grossing movie weekend, I should say, for September and October was The Martian with like $54 million. And looking at this slate of films, I don't see anything getting close to that. So I'm going to say no. The biggest weekend of September and October will be less than $50 million. So nothing getting above $50 million for September and October of this year.
It's a bleak outlook for the next 2 months. But you may be absolutely right. And because this time of year is usually when we get an influx of horror films, and you're going to see that because we have Rings, we have Ouija.
Ouija's already out.
The Origin of Evil.
Friend request.
That must be like that's probably like a direct release.
No, it's going to be a theater release.
Is this like a sequel to Ouija that just came out?
31. The
new Rob Zombie movie.
Rob Zombie film. We have Friend Request, like Matt was saying. We have, Dan, you talked about it when we did our last segment of previews, Yoga Hosers. And we have the next Blair Witch film. So there's a lot of horror films coming out in the next 2 months, and I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to try to predict the highest grossing one, and I think it's going to be Blair Witch. I think it'll recapture some of the magic of the first one, and I think it's going to make more than any other horror film in these 2 months.
It's funny that you say magic because it's about a witch.
Dun-dun-dun. All right, back to Matt. Bet to bomb or pick to click?
Oh, man, I get to do all of the work. Well, since you just mentioned Blair Witch, and I know I put it on my thing.
Did you skip me?
No, you talked about Medea.
Oh, okay.
Are you okay?
I'm going to go with the exact opposite for my September bet to bomb. I'm going to say Blair Witch is going to bomb.
All right, so you're going to say against me. You're going right against me and say Blair Witch is going to bomb. Amanda, what's going to bomb for you? One of your 2 picks.
I'm going to say Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, only because I'm super mad that they changed a bunch of shit already. I know this from the book.
So you think the book fans being angry that it's not faithful are going to cause it to bomb?
Yeah.
All right. No love for Miss Peregrine. Dan, one of your bets to bomb.
I'm actually going to go with Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, because it's not a great title for your sequel, when you're saying. And the first one didn't really do all that well, so I'm gonna say Jack Reacher Never Go Back is gonna bomb.
All right. I also had that on my list, so I'm gonna echo Dan's sentiment about Jack Reacher Never Going Back. Matt, your other bet to bomb.
All right, like middle school worst years of my life. I don't have to do like anything to like set it up. I don't think that one's gonna do particularly well.
No love for the middle school years, huh?
Oh, I loved my middle school years. I'd go back in a heartbeat.
But no love for the movie.
No.
All right. I don't know if that's going to resonate with people or not. Amanda, what else do you have bombing?
Masterminds.
Masterminds?
Yes. I think it looks funny, but I don't know.
Got an interesting cast, that's for sure. All right, Dan, what else do you have bombing?
I'm actually going to go with Snowden. I think that's going to bomb.
That's my pick, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm going with it because I'm thinking of like The Fifth Estate that came out around the same time. Not same subject, but similar subject matter. I think, I feel like movies that tend to cover like political scandal that when you're very close to it tend to not do very well. Especially I think people are kind of getting sick of politics with everything going on. So I feel a lot of people are just going to stay away from it. And it's Oliver Stone, who hasn't had the greatest track record in the last few years. So because of that, I think it's going to bomb.
I promise that just because Dan got all of his box office picks right on the summer preview, I'm not just copying him. I have Snowden and Jack Reacher written down on my sheet of paper. So we'll have the same bomb picks. I'll go first then, just to make sure that for picks to click. And I am going to say that, and I'm probably going to be so wrong on both of these, but I'm going to go with my first pick to click actually being Sully. I think this is just something that the middle-aged to elderly crowd is going to go crazy for, and they're all going to want to see it because they remember seeing it on the news and this, that, and the other, and they love Tom Hanks. So I'm going to say that a lot of people are going to go see Sully. And there's not a lot of competition. So, Dan, what's your first pick to click?
I'm actually going to go with one that's been mentioned. I'm actually going to go with Medea. Say what you will, even if that doesn't make as much money as the other ones, it doesn't have a huge budget to really overcome. So I'm going to say Medea makes whatever movie it is, something Halloween. Tyler Perry.
It's like Medea's Boo!
Tyler Perry
Halloween.
needs a new house.
There's an exclamation mark in the title after Boo.
In the middle of the title.
Makes no sense. Like, we're not even going to try anymore. So I'm going to, yeah.
We're just going to put the name Medea on it.
She's just going to be handing out candy from a prison cell.
Amanda.
Pick to click?
Yes.
The Magnificent Seven.
That comes out on September 23rd, doesn't it?
It just so happens it comes out on my freaking birthday. So it's going to have to be lucky.
All right, Magnificent Seven. Denzel's going to get some love at the box office, huh?
He's my boy.
All right. So picking Magnificent Seven to click. Matt, what's your pick to click?
I'm also not following in Dan's footsteps with my Medea pick. It just seems like the obvious one. Like, if you look at the Medea movies, the lowest grossing one was $50 million, and the highest, most expensive one was $20 million. That's a pretty easy pick.
All right. Trying to go for the softball there. For my other pick to click, I could be way off because this could be coming out at the absolute wrong time and not when the fad was going on with these books. But the other two films did fairly well, so I'm going to go with Inferno. And just hope that the whatever gap, 10, 15-year gap between the films isn't going to cost it too much. But I guess I'm just doubling down on Tom Hanks. So Inferno, I didn't realize I did that, but I just did. So that's my two picks to click. Dan, what do you got?
See, I almost went with Inferno with the bomb. I debated, but I just stayed away. I'm going to, like I said, when in doubt, go with a horror film. So I'm going to go with Blair Witch 2,
nice.
I guess. Or are they just calling it Blair Witch? Is that their...
I don't know what they're calling it.
I think that's right.
So, Amanda?
Man, I'm not so sure about this one now, because this might have a huge budget. I'm not sure. But Keeping Up with the Joneses. I think some people are going to go.
You think somebody's
going to
go see that?
I think it's going to be a date night movie, and people are going to be like, dude, it's Wonder Woman, and they're going to go see it.
Dude,
what other date night movies
Wonder
coming
Woman.
out? What other date night movies?
That might be a good argument. I just saw that preview and wanted to kill humanity.
There's like, The Light Between Oceans will be the only other, like,
ooh,
good
okay. That's a rough one, isn't it?
Date night movie.
We were watching Keeping Up with the Joneses, the trailer for it, in the theater, and it was like...
You know, he's like, if they say Keeping Up with the Joneses, I'm going to kill myself, and then they did.
I was like, if the title of this movie is Keeping Up with the Joneses, I'm out of here. And then it came up, so...
Is that the Bridget Jones one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Equally terribly looking film.
Actually, I kind of did a similar thing when we saw Pete's Dragon, if you can believe it. There was a trailer for Monster Trucks.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And I got like 10 seconds into it, and he's like, we're going to need more trucks. And I'm like, this movie's going to be goddamn named Monster Trucks, isn't it? And then it was.
They showed that preview when we went and saw Kubo and the Two Strings as well. So, yeah, that was a awful-looking trailer. Matt, what's your other pick to click?
Also copying someone, I'm going to go with The Magnificent Seven, mostly because I want it to do well because it looks amazing, rather than I believe it has the legs. It just looks good.
Yeah. I want it to do good, too. I like the cast, and there's not a lot of other things coming out this season that I'm going to look forward to, so I guess it's the best that there is to offer for some of these weeks. All right, so those are our predictions for the fall. That means it's time to shift our attention to Rotten Tomatoes from the summer and look back at what we decided or what we thought films were going to rate as far as the Rotten Tomatoes score. Starting off with the certified fresh picks. Dan, your first certified fresh pick for the summer was Jason Bourne.
Yeah. No.
Feeling good or bad?
Not so good. Not so good, unfortunately.
Yeah, not so good. Jason Bourne coming in at a 57%. So you might have got all of your box office picks right, but you're starting off with a wrong pick for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I had too much faith. The trailer looked great, but yeah, what are you going to do?
Amanda, your first Rotten Tomatoes pick, as well as mine, was The Founder, which we reported on halfway through the summer when it got pushed to November or December release. So we can't score any points on that. It hasn't come out yet.
It was lost.
Bummer.
Sorry.
Matt, your first pick out of left field was Florence Foster Jenkins. How you feeling?
Honestly, it still looks like a heart-opening movie that people are going to love.
And Rotten Tomatoes score for Florence Foster Jenkins for the summer was 86%.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that is enough to score you the first Rotten Tomatoes point of the day.
Nice.
Dan, your second pick was Kubo and the Two Strings, and that is currently sitting at a 96%.
There you
Wow.
go.
So that is killing it right there.
And I guess the person who gave it a bad score was Dead Inside, so there you go.
It had 100 for a while. I think it's gotten like either 1 or 2 bad reviews, and I don't know what those people were smoking because that movie is pretty darn good. Amanda, you and I doubled up on our second pick as well, and we went with Free State of Jones. I was still riding the horse of, or riding that wave when I had it as one of the most anticipated films of the year. I liked it better than most, but not enough to make it a certified fresh film. It's sitting at 42%, so no points again for us on that one. Matt, you also had Free State of Jones, so you're eliminated for your second point there.
Eliminated.
Eliminated. The third pick for everybody. Dan, you had Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I bit the bullet and said maybe it'll be good.
How much does this hurt? Ghostbusters currently sitting at a 73%.
Huh.
What does it need to be? 75?
Yeah, 75.
Let me go write a review real quick.
We need one more. Somebody out there write a good review for Ghostbusters. Give Dan another point. Amanda, your final pick was The Purge, election year. Any idea?
No.
All right, The Purge, election year, currently sits at a 54%.
Scheiße.
No points for you. My other pick was The Neon Demon, and that is at a 51%. So, no love for The Neon Demon out there. Matt, your last pick was Captain Fantastic. Was it a fantastic pick?
I don't know. You tell me.
79%.
Hey, that's enough.
79%. So, only 3 points awarded for Certified Fresh. Dan, you're taking 1 for Kubo. Matt, you're taking 2 for Florence Foster Jenkins and Captain Fantastic.
Who is this guy?
Making a move.
I gotta catch up somehow.
That should put you, I believe, out of last place on there. So you should be, if we were just looking at the Certified Fresh, I think that puts you in enough to pass either Amanda or myself. We'll have to total it up here in a little bit.
Hey.
As far as Certified Rotten, Dan, your first pick was Yoga Hosers. That is currently sitting at a 30%.
So close.
So close, but not quite there.
Really?
Yeah, just
Come on,
enough.
Kevin Smith, you disappoint me. Yeah.
Kevin Smith had enough fans out there to write some good reviews. So, Amanda and Matt, you both had Absolutely Fabulous, the movie. I can't believe it's this high, but not high enough to get you guys a point. 61%. 61%. Only doing 1% better was my first pick, Bad Moms, doing 62%. Much better reviews than I thought Bad Moms was going to get.
I liked it.
Yeah. A lot of people saying good things about Bad Moms, so apparently I was off my rocker when I said it was going to be certified rotten. All right. Let's see if we can get points anywhere here. Dan, you and I both went with 9 lives. Currently, 9 lives has a 7%.
Ooh.
There we go.
That is the worst film of the summer,
Nice.
Rotten Tomatoes-wise. So we got that one right on the nose. Amanda, you also had Bad Moms, so you're not going to get that point either. Dan, your last pick was The Space Between Us, which, like we mentioned before, got booted to December. My last pick was Mechanic Resurrection, which comes out this weekend. So apparently, normally when a film comes out, it actually has Rotten Tomatoes score like a week or 10 days, 2 weeks before it comes out. Apparently nobody is trying to see this film early because it has 0 reviews so far.
Well, there's no press screenings, which is a good sign for you.
So no critical take on if people should go see Mechanic Resurrection or not. So I don't know. Matt, your final pick was Warcraft. What do you think?
I think that it didn't do well, but I don't know if it didn't do well enough.
The mark is 25%. It needs to be 25 or lower. Warcraft, currently, 28.
Oh, man. Can I write a review on the GCRN, and that will be good enough to... Are we
reviewed
credited?
it.
Oh, man.
No.
Absolutely not. Amanda, your last pick was Ice Age Collision Course.
And
What do you think?
I think it's pretty good.
Ice Age Collision Course, currently, 11%. So that is good enough to score you a point. There was only 2 movies possible to pick to get this point. 9 Lives and Ice Age Collision Course. So Dan and myself got 9 lives. Amanda, you got Ice Age. Nobody else could have scored points on anything else.
When in doubt,
It's hard.
choose a talking animal movie. So
It's hard to get the certified rotten picks. There's usually not a lot to choose from. So we've said what a bunch of the percentages were. I will say, though, there was a lot more options to score points on certified fresh. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 films you could have picked for certified fresh. Anybody have any guess on what any of those are?
Finding Dory.
Finding Dory, 94%. We already talked about Kubo being 96%. Florence Foster Jenkins at 86%, and Captain Fantastic at 79%. Anything else out there, Matt or Amanda or Dan, that you think might have been fresh?
That's a good question.
Some of them are going to surprise you.
Is Pete's Dragon fresh?
Pete's Dragon is also fresh at 87%. Currently, the highest rated one that came out during the summer is Hunt for the Wilder People at 99%. And the second highest, which just has been released recently, I believe, Hell or High Water, is at 98%. As far as the major ones that we talked about, or at least ones that we've talked about at some point during the summer review, we have Kubo 96, Finding Dory 94, The Little Prince, even though it was basically a straight to Netflix type thing, 93%. Then Pete's Dragon 87, Florence Foster Jenkins 86, Star Trek Beyond 83,
Wow.
Sausage Party 82, The Conjuring 2 80, then Captain Fantastic, like we said, 79, Lights Out, the horror film, 76%. I did not expect that. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, Certified Fresh, 77%.
Not based on its name.
The Shallows, 76%, and the BFG, 75%. Any surprises there, Dan?
Someone with the BFG, and I guess with Popstar, because I heard very mixed things with it. Like, I heard people who loved it, and I heard people saying it was awful. So I'm surprised that made.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the two horror films, Conjuring 2 and Lights Out, being up that high, as well as Sausage Party. I didn't think people would review that.
See, I really liked the first Conjuring, and I know James Wan was coming back, so I thought the second one would do pretty well. But Lights Out, I did not have any expectations for whatsoever.
Yeah, you did not have a good reaction to the trailer for Lights Out, Amanda. Are you surprised that one got as...
No, I was terrified by the trailer.
Oh, you were terrified. I thought you thought it was no good.
No. I was just freaking terrified. When I saw it, I thought it was, decent, but I'm not surprised that that's sitting where it's at. I think it's deserving there, but I really don't see anything that's striking me as surprising, honestly.
Okay. The ones that were just outside the realm there, Secret Life of Pets sits at a 74 currently, Ghostbusters at a 73, Cafe Society at 70, and Central Intelligence at 68. Now, we already talked about the only two picks you could pick for Rotten being Ice Age at 11 and Nine Lives at 7. Does anybody want to guess the other, let's say the lowest 5 outside of that?
Well,
percentage-wise, Matt, got a guess?
I already guessed 2 of them on my certified Rottens, right?
Which ones?
Ben-Hur and Warcraft?
Yes, Ben-Hur and Warcraft both at 28%. There's 3 other ones down there towards the bottom. Dan, any guesses?
Yoga Hosers or whatever?
Nope, not. What did Yoga Hosers have?
30-something?
Nope, that's a little bit high enough to just miss that group. We also have Suicide Squad currently at 26%.
Dang.
Then we had, like Matt mentioned, Ben-Hur and Warcraft at 28, and Independence Day Resurgence at 32.
Wow.
So those are the other lowest ones. So Yoga Hosers was 30, I guess. So I guess that is in that group. So you're right. I didn't have that listed with the rest of them. So yeah, not good for those guys. And then it's the likes of Now You See Me 2, Legend of Tarzan, Mike and Dave Need a Wedding Date, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2, also all in the 30%. So not a lot of those box office big budget films finding its way into the certified fresh. Most of those down at the bottom of the list. So, all right, let's make our way into the fall predictions then. What films are going to do good? What films are going to do poorly when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes for September and October? Dan, fresh or rotten? Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with the bad so we can end with the good, I guess.
Okay.
I'll go with what's going to be rotten. I'm going to go with Bridget Jones's Baby, because why is this a movie that needs to exist? So I feel pretty confident in that one. Yeah,
that is awful. And it might have the same actress, but she does not look like the same person anymore. I don't know of anybody that has done more of a transformation, because if you held up a picture of her, I would not be able to tell you that that's Renee Zellweger. It's bizarre. Amanda, rotten pick?
I'm going to go with Snowden.
Snowden?
Are we only doing one, or...?
Yeah, well, we're doing 2 for each of these, so that's your first pick. So
okay.
Snowden will be your first one. Yeah, like Dan was saying with the box office, might not go over too well. Matt, certified rotten pick for you.
I'm gonna go with what feels like the obvious choice of The Wildlife. What the heck is that movie doing?
Is that the animated one?
That's one of those animated ones that's coming out.
There's a whole bunch of nondescript animated films coming out. I am gonna go with. I'm going to go with Keeping Up with the Joneses, because I think if Dan's picking Bridget Jones, I should pick Keeping Up with the Joneses. It just seems like they should both be bad. So, Dan, what's your second pick?
I'm going to go with Inferno. Again, going with the sequelitis that we've been having. And I know the first 2 weren't great with Rotten Tomatoes, so the third one years after the last one, and I know the book wasn't really well received either, so I'm going to go with Inferno.
All right. Amanda, your second rotten pick?
31. I don't think people are too hyped for
Rob
to
Zombie.
make another movie.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Everyone hates Rob Zombie movies. I forgot about that one.
Matt, your other pick.
I'm going to hate on children this fall and go with Max Steel.
I had Max Steel as one of my possibilities, too. It's on the list. But I'm going to go with Friend Request as my other one. just to make it different. But I think you might be onto something with Max Steel there. All right, shifting it to certified fresh. Amanda, we have more of a chance of getting these right. What's your first pick?
The Light Between Oceans. There's no way that movie can fuck up.
It's good. They don't. Nobody's gonna score the Fassbender low.
No.
All right. So The Light Between Oceans for certified fresh for you. I'll go with my first pick, which is The Birth of a Nation. I know he's getting some not so great press, but I still think that film's going to be received well, like it was in the festival circuit. Dan, what do you think?
I will say ditto, and I will also put that as my certified fresh. It's probably one of the first films we'll see that has a good chance of being nominated for Best Picture, just based upon its reception in all the different festivals and whatnot. So I'm pretty confident in that one.
Yeah, Matt, what do you got as your first pick?
I'm yes-anding that because that is what I had.
So 3 picks for The Birth of a Nation. Amanda, what's your second pick?
I'm going to go with The Girl on the Train. I think it has some potential.
All right, Girl on the Train. Interesting premise, interesting cast as well. For my second pick, I'm going to go with A Monster Calls, the Liam Neeson tree monster movie, just because that trailer was awesome, so hopefully the movie is as well. Dan, what's your second pick?
I'm actually going to go with one that, I feel like I went with an obvious one, so I wanted to challenge myself and get one that I'm not 100% positive on, but I think it has a chance, and that's Deepwater Horizon. Just because maybe it'll be, I'm not saying it's going to be great, but I think it'll maybe be just a well-made action thriller of some sort. So I'm considering that, and people like Mark Wahlberg, why not? So
there we go. Matt?
I'm going to go with, forgive me if I Kevin this up on my pronunciation, the Queen of Catway.
Do I pronounce a lot of stuff wrong?
You always, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. You always, say that before. Even if you've got it down, you still say it.
Yeah. The King of Quetway, we just saw the preview, the trailer for that yesterday as well, so I could see that one being received well. It's got a nice cast as well. All right, so those are our picks for our fresh and rotten picks. Let's take just a quick look at the films overall and get your guys' thought. I know you guys have kind of tipped your hand a little bit to what you feel like as far as the September and October films. So looking ahead here, some films that maybe didn't get named, just so we'll kind of throw out those. Sea of Trees is supposed to come out sometime in September. We talked about The Light Between Oceans. There's Sully, of course, a slew of animated films with The Wildlife, Storks, as well as, I thought there was one more. Maybe those are the main two. Then we got Blair Witch, Snowden, Bridget Jones' Baby, The Magnificent Seven, Queen of Catway, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, Deepwater Horizons, Masterminds, Girl on the Train, The Birth of the Nation, the middle school film, Friend Request. We didn't talk about Mascots or Ben Affleck and The Accountant, Desierto, Max Steel, Jack Reacher, 31, Keeping Up with the Joneses, Tyler Perry, Medea Halloween, A Monster Calls, Ouija, Origin of Evil, Inferno, Rings, and American Pastoral. What are you most looking forward to, and what is the fall going to end up, what's going to be the theme when we're done with this, when we look back at it, what's going to be our reaction, Dan?
It's not looking great. I think there's some decent ones there. I'm really looking forward to The Light Between Oceans and The Birth of a Nation, but beyond that, I don't know. It's gonna be a good time to catch up on the movies that I've not seen so far and missed. So
yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I'm very much looking forward to The Light Between the Oceans and The Birth of a Nation. I am intrigued by The Girl on the Train. That was on one of my most anticipated films list at the beginning of the year. The Accountant intrigues me as well, so I'm waiting to see kind of what that holds for us. And like I said, I was really impressed by the trailer for A Monster Calls. So those are kind of the ones that I'm most looking forward to. Amanda, what do you think as far as the fall season? Are you excited, or are you just waiting to get to Star Wars?
Well, man, everything that you guys have said, I want to see. Light Between Oceans, A Monster Calls, A Girl on the Train, definitely. Mrs. Peregrine, even though I think it's going to get fucked up, I still think it would definitely be cool to see, because that's what intrigued me about the whole series in the first place, was just the look of it.
Now, you're a huge horror fan. This is a month full of horror films. What do you think?
I was going to say, I'm going to see every single horror movie possible, so we'll see what the fall has in store for us.
Which one are you most looking forward to out of the horror films coming out?
Probably Blair Witch.
Are you a big fan of the first one?
Yeah, there's also some good stuff coming out. I'm not sure if in the fall, though, Don't Breathe looks pretty cool. I don't know when that's coming out, pretty soon here.
That's actually coming out this weekend, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so that's the Suicide Squad competition was Mechanic Resurrection and Don't Breathe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably going to see all of them, even the Rob Zombie 31, so.
Matt?
I'd love to see Magnificent Seven, and I would see Mrs. Peregrine's. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if I see a trailer, I'm like less enthused, and then I saw a trailer in the theaters and I was way more enthused. So I think if I'm going to see that one, I want to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
All right. So, like we said, maybe a good time to catch up on a lot of stuff that we've talked about previous that came out in the summer, the spring, etc. Or, hey, TV seasons are about to start, so maybe a good time to start some TV series or something like that. But that's a look ahead at the fall. Dan, anything else you want to talk about as far as the summer, the fall, or anything? Or are you just ready for winter films and the award season?
I'm just ready for good movies, so whenever they want to start putting those out on the regular, I'll be happy.
Right. Awesome. Thanks as always, guys, though, for tuning in to the Cinema Geeks this week. You're going to have to let us know what you think about our picks, if we're way off or if we're right on the nose. We'll also put on the episode post an updated standings so far through the summer predictions. So we'll total all those up and give you guys who's winning so far in most of the categories. We know Dan's winning at the box office, but we'll have to do some math for the Rotten Tomatoes. You can email us at feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the website, comment on this one and all of our other posts, and we'll definitely interact and react to your responses there. And we can also directly interact with you via Twitter. The show Twitter handle is @CinemaGeekcast. My individual Twitter is @OptimusSolo. Amanda, yours is?
Heart Candy Mandy, Eyes, No Wise.
Dan, your Twitter is?
@Movie Revolt.
And Matt, your Twitter is?
I'm @FridleySent.
All right, so that does it for this week. Be sure to check in next week for another chance to listen to the Cinema Geeks.